Today I'd like to show you a simple samba. Now, this is not really a beginner lesson. This is going to be using one chord form to play the entire chord progression. Now, it's a 4-finger chord form, and for those of you who haven't ventured into either bar chords or up the neck or using 4 fingers, you might want to come back to this lesson later. It's a great, very handy chord to learn, but it took me a while. So I'm not going to tell you, just go play this for 5 minutes and you'll have it. You won't. But it's very handy. So let me play you what you're going to do, and then we'll talk about how to do it. Here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just keeps going like. So what were we doing? Well, we were playing the following chords. We were playing an E minor 7 to an A7 to a D minor 7 to a G7. Now, we weren't doing them down here, we were doing them up the neck. And here's the form we're using. So my E minor is 7th fret on the A string with my first finger. A little closer so you can see this. And then skip a string, the G string, 7th fret with my middle finger. Then the first string with my ring finger, still on the 7th fret. So 1, 2, 3 in a row. Then your pinky, yes, your pinky, goes on the B string on the 8th fret. So the 4 notes that you want to get are this A string and then the first 3. Now, this being an E chord, yes, you can hit the low E string if you want. What you're doing, just in case you're interested, is you're taking this E minor chord, it'd be a barred A minor shape, turning it into a 7th, which means lifting off the index when we're talking about the pinky. And if you look at that chord, we're taking the first 3 strings of that chord, boom, 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 and we're playing the root, which is an E note here. So it's a very efficient way to play this chord. Now here's the other nice thing about this. Just as you can take this chord, it's a minor 7th chord there. If you shift it over like this, it's a 7th chord of whatever that bottom note is. In this case, I'm on the 7th fret. You can't tell, but that would be a B7. So we could play this whole thing using bar chords, which I don't want you to do, because if you can do it, you're not learning anything new. And you think, well, that sounds just as good. Well, it does, but the beauty of this is there's no bar. It frees your hand up. At first, it's going to tie your hand up. You're not going to be happy. But you're going to enjoy it once you know how to play it. So that's an E minor 7th, the one I just described. And then the next one is an A 7th, which is the same shape starting on the 5th fret of the low E string. Then 5th fret of the D, 5th fret of the B, 6th fret of the G. That's an A 7th. Looks pretty scary, I know. And then over 1 string starting on the A string. That's your D minor 7th. And then same shape over starting on the low E string on the 3rd fret. This is going to be a G 7th. Okay, so just the roots of those chords. If you just want to trace it with your pointer finger, 7th fret on the A string, and then 5th fret on the low E, and then 5th fret on the D, and the A string, excuse me, and then 3rd fret on the E. That's a good way to get your bearings. Just play through with this rhythm. Bum, 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 bum. 7th on the A, that's an E note. 5th fret on the low E, that's an A note. 5th fret on the A, that's a D note. 3rd fret on the low E, that's a G note. And then you slowly build that chord up. Now I'm just picking these separately over here. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about the right hand. What am I doing? I am using 3 fingers to play the high notes in the chord. First, second, third, I play them all together. And then my thumb is playing the root. So I'm going. So you can play them all together, or you can play. That's doing the thumb on the first and the second beat, and then the finger finishes up by itself. However you want to do it is fine, but that's how I'm doing this. And then on the A, I move it over, so now I'm playing the 6th string, and these are playing the B string, the G string, and the D. Get sideways so you can see how I do this. So. And if you want to play along with this, or if you have somebody who you want to practice this and have them play lead, it's in the key of C, so you can take a C major scale and jam along and it'll sound pretty good. Here's a little sample lick that you can try from the beginning, so I'll play the chords. And here's go. So what was that? That's a B note, 7th fret on the first string, 7 to 8, back to 7, then to the 5th, twice, and then start on that 5th fret of the first, 5th to 7th, back to 5th, and then 8th fret on the B string. And that's all coming from this scale. Okay? So you're probably going to hate this when you first try it because it's really awkward, but a few months down the road, you'll be thanking me. Okay? See you later.